it finally got me where I wanted to be as
Right.
like a house, tech house DJ.
That was the goal all along.
That I wanted to be that guy.
Taking you guys on a journey of the music of the past, present, and the future. Welcome to Mambo Tales. We are here tonight on Friday night with the amazing Ferreck Dawn. Thank you so much for doing this, man.
Thank you for having me.
Man, so he just killed his set here at Café Mambo. How does it feel being back? Let's start with that.
It's great. I think this is my third or fourth year, but it's an iconic venue, so it's an honor to play. You know, we were saying before, like when I'm 38 now, so it's literally 15 years ago.
Wow.
You walk by, you see, was it Chesto or Armin van Buuren play? You think, oh man, if I could play that booth, you know. So it's such a pleasure to be here, and I love the fact that people are behind you and in front of you,
And in front of you.
having some drinks, having some food. Slowly but surely, everybody gets into the vibe. So it's such a special place. It's lovely.
It's really cool to see how it just kind of grows on you throughout the night. Like you kind of just see more people get into it. And it's just at the end of it, it's just everyone's just freaking out, going crazy.
That's the beauty of it, because when it's not Ramo from the get-go, you start off slow, but it's interesting to see how quickly people kind of latch on, and they give you the energy for more and more and more. So it's great, and at the end, well, everybody was dancing, we were all happy, so loved it. Yeah.
So I want to talk a little bit about your origins, like how you started, what got you into music in general, and then what got you going on to being a DJ.
So I'm Dutch, so there's house music. You grow like UK Dutch people. We grow up with it, you know.
Yeah.
So at least my generation. I'm 1985, 38.
Yeah.
So it was in the charts and everything. So you grew up with it. And then I went to Sensation 2001. You know Sensation? Remember the event? Everybody dresses in white, massive everywhere around the world. I went there when I was 16, and I saw DJs playing, and I saw everybody in white, and I was just mind blown by like this guy is like playing music, and everybody responds to it.
Yeah.
Like, this is cool.
Yeah.
But because I was young, I liked like hard shit, like gabba, like proper like 150 BPM. So I started doing that. After 3 years, I was fed up with it. I used to DJ as DJ Dusk. I don't know why I came up with that. It's too long ago. But then moving to house and techno, I figured this is a 180. So Dawn, and then came up with Ferreck as my name is Freek, which is very hard to pronounce for UK people, English-speaking people. But so literally the start was just going to events with friends and everything, and just getting into it, and just seeing this guy being like in control and making choices, and everybody responds to it. And this is cool. So this is how I started when I was 16, 17 years old.
Yeah, this is like my second year covering this venue and seeing so much of these DJs and you guys. I think it's amazing. Exactly what you said, control, how you guys are able to like control a venue. I imagine there's got to be a little bit of pressure involved as well.
It is, and even after I've been doing it for 20 years, and I'm still nervous for every show.
Every show.
Little like butterflies, but I think it's a good thing, because it means it matters, you know?
Yeah.
If I lose that, it's not a good thing. You know, especially venues like this, which is different from when there's like 5,000 people in front of you and everybody's going already.
Real intimate, right?
And but that's a different show, because then you feel like, okay, I just play bangers and we'll be fine. But getting people from sitting down to standing up and having a party, that's interesting, because that's you have to work for it in a good way. You know? So control is it can also sound a little bit negative, and I don't mean it negative, but it's a great feeling when you get the mood elevated and you get everybody happy. Yeah. It's a very rewarding feeling that we're all in the same like wavelength on the frequency. We understand each other and we're having a great time. That's really rewarding.
Just in creating that environment. So I wanted to ask you, I'm not sure if this is true, I read somewhere where you had promised your parents when you were young that you were going to finish your studies before you
they were set on it. They say, listen, all fun and games, this is fun, you know, like, and play as much as you want, but finish your school. And it's not that they didn't have faith, or they didn't trust the whole thing, but it is of course a job that so many people want, and it's a hard game. It's very dog, it's very competitive, it's not an easy one. So I kind of respect the fact that to finish the schools, and after that you do what you want to do. But
for me, I just wanted to highlight that. I just thought for all the people out there that are striving for something, but because it said, I was reading that while you were doing your studies, you still were doing the music obviously on the side. So you're doing two different things. You're striving for your goals, but you're also handling what you got to handle.
So what I miss if I think back of my college days,
Yes.
is I never had a dorm. I didn't move out.
Right.
And in retrospect, you think of it, you think I kind of missed out on this little experience that everybody had, right? Because I went back and forth because I wanted to do music, and I
Right.
can't do it in a dorm because
Exactly.
it's noisy. There's people in the room.
Yeah.
So my choice was I just gonna go up and down every day. I added a second study to buy myself more time because when
Right.
I study, I have more time to produce music than when I work.
Wow.
So just to give myself more time. So I did miss out on college experience, but in the end, look, we're here now. So it paid off. But I definitely thought about that. Did I miss out? Probably not. Because with all the events were happening. But that was the price to pay, and I'm very happy I did it.
Yeah.
But no, I stayed in my parents until I was 25, which is kind of silly when you say it out loud, and when you have all your mates leaving house at 16, 17, 18, and I'm there when I was 25. But the reason was I had my little dojo, my little studio. Just go to the college, go back, produce music, and hope it will happen. And just, perseverance, let's call it like that.
It all paid off. Listen, man, in the States, we call that grinding. I just wanted to make sure we shouted that out here on this episode, how amazing that was that you kind of did
Thank you
that.
for highlighting it, because
No, yeah.
it is something that, that especially US movies, like the college movies, you look at all the dorm stuff, you think,
Yeah.
that must have been great, that must have
I
been
have
fun.
no idea what that's
I
like.
just went back to mom and dad's and we were like watching a movie together.
All right.
Great, that's a good, so it's different, but
Yeah.
I'm happy I did. It paid off, but yeah, a little sacrifice.
So we haven't asked this type of question in a few episodes, but I want to go back to this type of stuff as well. I wanted to ask you, do you have a secret talent or a hobby? Just something, out of that maybe that no one knows.
I don't really. I have this
Nothing?
weird thing that I can remember like actor names
Oh,
that are
okay.
the most random. Do not put me on the spot and ask me
won't,
about shit.
No, don't worry, don't worry.
But I have this weird thing because I love the website's called IMDb. You know that?
Yeah, of course, with all the
So
actors. Yeah.
I look at that often when I'm looking, and then I will remember the most random actor in the world that has like 3 movies, and then he pops up in a movie, and I will go, oh, that's this and this guy. So that's maybe my hidden talent.
That's
I don't
like
know
your
what it is.
superpower.
It's fucking stupid.
I mean,
but
hey.
that is what I do. Apparently, I remember B or C actors from years ago. That's
Yeah.
my superpower.
That's awesome. That's all. There's so many times I saw a show like maybe a couple years ago, like, oh, what's that guy's name? What's that?
I know.
You would know
Perfect
it.
example. Here you go. Did you ever watch Seinfeld?
Of course.
David Puddy.
You okay?
Lovely, right?
Yeah,
You know
yeah,
who David
but
Puddy is?
no one really-
Patrick Warburton. Why do I know that?
I
don't know. I looked at it like 10 years ago. But this is I don't know why I remember it.
That's
That's my
impressive.
superpower.
That's impressive. There you go. You have so many tracks. Like if you look at your discography and you listen to what you've done, like throughout your career, I think it was 17 years you said, like your career of music. What would you say is probably your favorite track or favorite project you've worked on up to this point?
I think well, it's 2. I think In Arms is the track that kind of changed everything because I used to be with Spinning Deep, which is
Right.
more commercial, and then I always had, everybody as a house DJ, you love Defected. Everybody loves Defected as a
Right.
house DJ, but it's hard to reach and get into that when you're with Spinning Deep, So the contract ended. I was doing like more underground stuff, slowly but surely with them. And then I did In Arms, and I was out of the deal with them. Sent it to Defected, and like after 9 months or something, we got to release it. And Sam Devine started playing it in Australia before it got released, and she said to the guys, "Listen, this track is getting a lot of response when I play it." Then they put it on the radio show, and then they decided to put it on the main label because initially it was going to be on the second label.
Right.
Put it on the main label, and then it did really well. And that was kind of my link, my first connection with Defected. And
Right.
after that, of course, I met the guys. We had a great energy, great vibe. Joined the booking agency and did a lot more music with them. But I think definitely In Arms, for me, is a pinnacle record because it finally got me where I wanted to be as
Right.
like a tech house DJ.
That was the goal all along.
That I wanted to be that guy, but I was with a more commercial label. Because when you're younger, you make decisions that, in hindsight, maybe you think musically different choices would have been better. But when when you're young, But so that song definitely, to me, changed everything. And then afterwards, I had Back Tomorrow, which a lot of people respond to as well. So, but if I can choose of all the tracks I've done, definitely In Arms is the
In
one
Arms?
that I
Okay.
feel made a big difference for me.
And is there possibly anything that you can talk about as far as terms of music going forward?
We have like 8 or 9 songs already finished and lining them up. So the musically, we are looking very good at the minute. You know, the shows are great. I'm just super happy with how it's going, and I'm really excited about the forthcoming years.
Awesome. So I wanted to ask you, you kind of touched on it for a second, and this is a controversial question, I don't know. I wanted to ask you your personal opinion about commercial music versus, you know, underground music. So I think you're saying that you have changed, you had transitioned your sound?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, could you speak a little bit about that, your personal opinion?
Yeah, well, listen, I'm happy that commercial house music is there because it draws in the youngsters, right? You know, we all probably started listening to house music when we were young, and then especially in Europe, there's a lot of stuff on the radio that you get
Yeah.
into. And slowly but surely, you kind of develop your own little taste,
Yeah.
and then maybe you go off to enjoy DC-10 like Michael Beebe, Marco Carola, Richie Houghton, or you go David Guetta,
Yeah.
Calvin Harris. You know, I think it's a great starting point for everybody. So I'm super happy how I kind of give credits to David Guetta for that. How big house or electronic music is at the minute, and how he did that 20 years ago in the US and everything. So hats off to that. And I think it only made the scene even bigger and bigger and bigger, because I remember there's lots of old clips of news reporters in the Netherlands in the end of the 80s saying house music and it's a fad, it will die down in a couple of months, and look where we are right now. You know, it's a $1 billion industry.
Yeah.
So I'm really happy how it flourished, how it's here. It will never go away. So the commercial side of it is great. And I'm happy. I did a couple shows with Martin Garrix. I did Ushuaia a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
I did Brooklyn Mirage with him in June. And for me, it's great as well, because I play a lot of, not underground, but like house events.
Yeah.
So it's really good for me to play those events as well, and maybe get some new people to listen to this music. And
There you go.
even though, of course, they come for him and expect that kind of music, I think it's great to kind of expose them to what we do.
Right.
And hopefully, get them to enjoy that as well. So I think it's great that it's there, and it can coexist perfectly.
That's a great answer. Okay. So there's so many amazing, huge DJs, Dutch DJs. I want, you being a Dutch DJ as well, I wanted to ask you if you had any inspirations coming up.
Okay, my like hero back in the day was Chesto.
Okay.
I never met him, so
Never.
that's probably the only DJ from the Netherlands I never met.
Okay.
But for me, he paved the way. He is for me the guy that opened the doors to loads of people when he did the Olympics and everything. Musically, of course, we're a bit different, but I definitely respect him a lot and admire him. And that to me, when I'll meet him one day, I'll be like this. Like for me, he is like
Chesto.
Chesto when I see you. But he's from the same area from the Netherlands, and everybody speaks very highly of him. I'm sure when we see each other, it'll be great. But now for me, definitely Chesto is, and I think for a lot of people from my generation, Chesto was kind of the guy who opened the door. So I have a lot of respect and admiration for him, and I'd love to meet him one day and just tell him that. Even though he probably heard it a million times. Still nice to say that to someone, right?
I mean, it's always nice to hear that, I'd say. I guess my last question will be about sampling and remixing. That's such an important thing in DJing. For you, could you explain like your process behind doing stuff like that? How long, like, has that always been like something you've done for a long time?
I love sampling. Problem is with sampling is you never know if you get the green light.
Yeah, exactly.
So I did a song 2 years ago, the track is called Kush, which is a song from Dr. Dre, who's one of my favorite producers ever, probably from loads of people, right? But when you do a song that has a Dr. Dre sample, there's like loads of writers and producers, and everybody has to say yes. So it took us 3 years to get the green light. But when you do something 3 years ago, the sound changed, right? So even though I love sampling, it's a little bit tricky because you can get really excited about something. But then you look on Spotify and you look at the list of writers and you see 20 people and they all have to say yes. So sampling is a bit difficult. There are a few websites at the minute who are great that they have songs on it, but you can sample them. So you pay them a fee of the master every royalty period. but you know when you use that vocal, you're okay, you're good to go. So even though I love sampling, it's a little bit tricky.
Yeah.
So that's why I since the last 2 years I work a lot with vocalists, and you
Okay.
go into sessions.
Like actually getting people come into the
Do
studio.
a session, sit
Yeah.
down with a couple of people, preferably like two or three, like a top liner and a writer, to have them like vibe off each other,
Yeah.
and you as the producer sit there, and then you know it's not going to be hassle.
It's not going to be a
So that's
difficulty.
definitely I prefer nowadays.
Yeah.
But I love sampling, and I'm a big fan of hip hop music. So I love how they all did it. But it's just a shame how many hurdles you need to take to get it out.
Yeah.
Which I understand because fair play to them, they produced it, and I took their idea then. But it's not easy. So
Yeah, this is a conversation I would like to have with every one of the DJs that come here, like the sampling and it's such an interesting topic. What you guys do is so freaking awesome.
I wish it would all be easier. And of course, credit where credit is due. If you take a sample from someone, please pay him the exact amount of money that he deserves. You know, but it'd be great also for the creativity of producers to have it become less difficult. Because it is difficult.
Yeah.
You know? And sometimes I said when you have to wait 3 years to release a song.
Yeah. It's like what the heck?
Yeah. So when you produce it, you're all excited. It's like, oh, if we get this out right now, it could be great. No, we have to wait till someone says yes, and someone maybe say no. And it happened to me a couple of times. That you have a song, it's
Really?
a great song, and then they say
They're
no.
like, no, we don't want
and
you
they have different reasons. Maybe for instance, hip hop producer, R&B producer doesn't want it to be a dance song. You know? Fair enough, it's your song.
Yeah.
But then the idea is gone, and I spend hours or weeks on it. You know.
Okay.
But this is part of the game.
I
So that's
see.
why
No.
I prefer doing sessions now. So no more of that. No.
So piggybacking off of that, I believe you had a song with Alex Mills.
Yeah.
She actually was here a couple episodes back.
She's amazing.
Really amazing. Yeah. So that's one of the ones where you kind of bring someone in.
Exactly.
You guys kind of work together, right?
She's extremely talented. I think of all the people I work with, Alex is great in writing house music, and it will never ever be cheesy or
Right.
corny or poppy.
Right.
It's always like poetic and cool.
Right.
She's very good at that. Plus, she
Yeah.
has an amazing voice. So we did 2 songs. We did one on Defected. We did one on Repopulate Mars, and we're working on a 3rd one.
Ooh.
So
Okay.
she's amazing, but she's the perfect example of someone when I go to London when we do sessions, Alex is a girl you'd love to be in the room because she's super talented as a singer and as a writer.
Right.
But that, and plus doing that, especially after COVID, which was Zoom sessions,
Right.
Zoom, everybody's like, shit.
Yeah.
But when you're in the room with 3 or 4 people, of course, sometimes it doesn't really click, but when it clicks, it's amazing what happens you start from nothing and you end up at the end of the day with something,
Right.
which is so cool. You have this little energy going. It's so great to have, you created something.
Exactly.
Is it always going to be the next hit? No, baby, but 1 out of 10, it might be the next one.
Might be the
you
next
know?
one. Shout out Alex, by the way. So this is the Café Mambo mystery box. Ferreck, what you're going to do, you're going to go in this mystery box, and what is going to come out, you have to speak about it. That's it. That's
I have
just
to
how-
speak
you
about
have to
it.
speak about it. Whatever's in this box. As simple as that.
It's going to be very. I hope it will. Oh well, this is interesting. This is good actually. 'Cause
Okay.
when you asked me the question about what's the one song.
Yeah.
So In Arms is my transition. This song, this is interesting. I'll show it. It's called Love Too Deep with Redondo, who's one of my good friends. I still work with him a lot. This song, this is an interesting story. I was working at Armada at the
Okay.
time, and Armada and Spinning were two biggest Dutch companies,
Right.
and they weren't like.
Rivals, maybe?
Well, right, there was a little friction.
Okay.
So I did the song with him, and we offered it to Armada, and they passed on it. And then he said, because he knew the guy from Spinning really well, they said they want to do it, and they have like great plans and all that. But he said you need to figure out if you want to do it because it's gonna affect you. Spoke to my girlfriend, said, listen, what do I do? And she was very cool. She said, listen, if you don't do it now, when will you ever will?
Yeah.
So I signed the track to them. But this is actually the song that made me quit the job and pursue a music career, because this one went to BBC Radio 1
Yep.
daytime
Yep.
playlisting, and that was kind of my signal in my head from, listen, maybe there's actually something here, or maybe we could do it.
Exactly.
So I'm forever grateful for this song, even though I never play it.
Right.
I still love it. It is a bit more commercial.
Yeah.
I love when people ask for it, but In Arms is the song that really still touches me.
Yes.
But I'm really happy about this song because those two songs changed my life, if you will. But this was an important moment.
No,
yeah.
okay.
So thank you.
No,
thank you.
thank you. So to close the episode, we always had the DJ from the previous episode ask a question for the DJ of the current episode, and then the DJ from the current episode will ask a question for the next episode. We don't know who the DJ will be for the next episode, so it's an open-ended question. You take your time to think about it. What I will ask you is the question that was asked yesterday from Fatboy Slim. Normally we get some really deep questions. He had a really simple question for you. Who is your favorite Spice Girl?
Posh.
There you go. Guys, there you go.
Yeah. She's the most attractive of all of them.
All right, there you go.
Okay, well, I have a great one for the next one then.
All right, that's what we're looking for.
Who is your favorite Backstreet Boy?
Okay, all right, that's a really good one, guys.
Mine
Let's
was
keep it
Brian,
going.
by the way.
Okay, all right, awesome.
Proper singer. So let's see what the next one says.
I look forward to finding out. Guys, this was Mambo Tales. We're here at Ferreck Dawn. Thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you. Thank you.
Man, this
Thank
was
you.
amazing. He
Thank
just killed his set here at Café Mambo. He's about to go kill his set over at Eden. And this was Mambo Tales, and we're out.
Peace.